Let me tell you something, brother. This might be the best OG Kush I've ever had. Ooh. Ooh, yeah. You just said a mouthful, brother. I'm higher than helicopter, but listen though, Hulkster. Younglurch has been running his mouth on that podcast. Blaze the Bingo Hall podcast needs to show some respect to the veterans, brother. I say we run in there and show Younglurch and his guest just exactly who the OGs of this game are, What you gonna do, Blaze the Bingo Hall podcast, when the Macho Man and the Hulkster run wild on you? Ooh, yeah. Give me like 10 minutes, though, because I'm really, really stoned. Oh, yeah.
Welcome in another episode of Blaze the Bingo Hall. Today we have a very special guest. He is one of the innovators of the underground wrestling scene. He is none other than Lil Skittle. What's going on, Lil Skittle? How you feeling, man?
Good, bro. What's up, guys? Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you for stepping into the Bingo Hall and blazing it with your boy Younglurch. Got a wide variety of topics to talk about today. Some of you may know Lil Skittle from, videos he's posted on the internet. If you're a wrestling fan like myself, you've seen him in GCW and other various promotions like XBrand Wrestling, H2O. And then, of course, your music career, which we'll talk about as well. So let's talk about where you're based out of. Are you from New York? Is that where you're based out of? Or am I off by asking that?
No, so I'm from upstate New York, like the Cortland area.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was born in Cortland, New York, which is like 30 miles south of Syracuse, which is upstate central area of New York. So yeah, it's New York, but not New York City.
Okay. And is that where you kind of got your start with wrestling and your first, introduction to it?
Yeah, I went to my first show in Cortland when I was like 5 years old. It was Brutus the Beefcake was there. It was just a local fed at the fairgrounds. It was pretty cool though.
Yeah.
I've been going to shows my whole life though around this area, and then eventually started traveling. But yeah, definitely upstate New York is where all my roots are, music and wrestling. Yeah,
it's always fun going to those shows where they bring in like a lot of the older older legends and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
I know there's one running tonight around my way that they're bringing in Tony Atlas. So it's always cool. Yeah, it's always cool to see those kind of guys. But let's talk about your name, Lil Skittle. How did you come up with that name? Was that something that you came up with, before wrestling, or was that something that you started when you got into the wrestling scene?
When I started dropping music when I was in like literal middle school, I just I wasn't even taking it too serious. I just kind of wanted something that would it just kind of popped up. I'm like, oh, this would be funny. Like another classic little rap name, and then like people just it stuck with me. People really seemed to I feel like if I tried to break away from it, I couldn't even, people will always, especially in my local area, call me that. And I've had the name since I was young, and I kind of I picked it off a whim, but I feel like now, even now that I'm wrestling and stuff, I don't want to change it because I don't know, there's something important to me. Yeah, absolutely. There's something important to me about sticking to my roots.
Yeah, that's cool. I didn't know if it was you were on a strict Skittle diet or something like that. I know you probably also seen they have the little Skittles out there now, the little tiny ones.
Yeah, I have seen that actually. Everybody tagging me in photos of them. I'm like, I actually haven't tried them. I haven't had any Skittles in a long time actually. Usually when I get them, it's I just get them as a gift randomly. I don't buy them a lot anymore because I've had so many over the years.
Sure.
I'm kind of sick of them at this point.
I'm sure, especially because people want to probably buy you bags of Skittles and stuff all the time too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, bro, look what I got you. I'm like, oh, thanks.
Yeah, thanks, but man, yeah, I have a sweet tooth too, so right now, nerd clusters are kind of my go-to, and hot tamales were mine for a long time. And same kind of thing. I kind of burned myself out on them, just eat them all the time. Where it's just even sometimes the smell of them, I'm just like, oh, yeah.
Right. No, I totally hear you on that.
Yeah. Can you tell me about some of the early days in wrestling, though? So, like, what inspired you to get into the business? Like, I think that your path is a lot different than a lot of people's as far as how you've, kind of made your way into it.
No, 100%. So, with me, I guess it always just comes back to that I've been doing music for like the whole like that's always been my main thing, and then that's always been my focus, and then I kind of just randomly decided that it'd be cool if I maybe did a match, and then I just kind of did a pop-up match on through my own brand, the Skittle Squad, and it was just a one match show, and I'm like, oh, this will be fun just to do it, and then I'll never do it again, and then I really enjoyed it. So then at that point, I'm like, okay, probably doing like a backyard match or whatever is probably not the best. So then I wanted to then get it trained and go to wrestling school, which I am now doing. But yeah. So you get what I mean? Or,
Yeah, I get you totally. That's what I was kind of getting at, is that like you kind of, like I said, kind of blaze your own way into the scene, and then now you are, like you said, you are going into the proper channels of wrestling school, right? Who are you? Where are you training, and who are you training under?
So yeah, I train at the Institute of Professional Wrestling in Syracuse. It's owned by Zachary Springate the third. He's a legend. He's been in the game for like 30 years. Yeah, he's trained by Killer Kowalski. Super good school there. Super, everything they provide there for us is more than I could ask for. They get everybody who comes out of there is really good. They give us a great platform there.
So before you started actually getting into the school, how did you develop like your unique style? Like, what influences did you use to, like, come up with your matches? Like, because now I'm sure as you're getting into school, you're probably seeing a lot more, or they're probably opening your eyes to a lot more like psychology and ring type things that you probably weren't thinking beforehand, right?
No, absolutely, 100%. I've learned definitely since I've started going to wrestling school that there's a lot more than doing moves, and like that was kind of like my logic with going into like a lot of my backyard matches is, oh, I feel like I could probably do a couple of these moves and like do something cool, or I might be able to like get hit with a chair or whatever and be fine. But there's a lot more that goes into a wrestling match than that. I've now learned, but
yeah, I'm sure that now, like you said, that you're going into school, like it's probably going to open up your horizons to a lot of other matches and things and networking and connections that you'll have. Because even my deep dive when I'd seen a lot of other things that you have coming up that I was even surprised that you have going on. But we'll get into that. What do you think is been one of the most significant moments in your career? Would you say that would be, your moments in GCW? I know, like I listed earlier, you've also participated in XBrand and H2O. But I know GCW is probably one of the most prominent promotions out there.
Oh no, it definitely is.
The
On the indies, I don't feel like there is a higher platform than GCW. If there is, I still like GCW. That's my favorite company, like on the indies right now. However, the H2O and the X brand stuff, that was also incredible. Like everything that has came at me, I'm more than blessed and grateful for. But I definitely, I think the GCW backyard was probably the coolest thing that's happened so far. That was kind of just really off a whim, and it changed my whole. It changed my whole ideas of how I wanted to wrestle, because I did that first match against Jay and I was like, okay, that was cool. And then we got to do the match at GCW, and then I'm like, okay, it's time to go to training. Like that match is like the reason I am training and continuing wrestling. Like if it wasn't for that match, I probably wouldn't be training or wrestling.
Yeah, so before the match that just happened last year at Backyard with GCW, I had just recently discovered you, like right before then. So it was like you were very new to me, and then it was like GCW I was really starting to get into really heavy at the time. I mean, I've been watching for a few years, but I was really getting into it heavy. and then you pop up on there on the backyard. And I was just like, holy shit, what is going on here? But yeah, I thought it was great. Like I love it, man. It's like you're a guy that, you know, maybe some everyone's cup of tea, but I think that you're someone that definitely, you know, is passionate about it and wants to go out there and put on a show. At the end of the day, that's all you can ask for. You know what I mean? So I thought it was a good show. But Mr. J, is he a good friend of yours? Are you guys close?
Yeah, absolutely. Jay is a friend of mine. He has been for a long time. We're kind of in the midst of this blood feud right now. It started out where I wanted to do that match, and I kind of approached Jay, and I was just like, "Is this something you'd be open to, dude?" And he was full game. And then from there, we were able to build something really special. I think that took from me just being like a random like fan rapper to like being taken seriously as a wrestler, and that's definitely thanks to my matches with Jay. So
yeah, it definitely takes two to tango. So you gotta have someone else that kind of is your yin to your yang, you know. So definitely got, you know, everyone has their guy or girl that they're, you know, always lined up with throughout time, you know. But how do you balance like physical demands of deathmatch wrestling or hardcore wrestling, you know, with the need to protect yourself and your opponents? Like, obviously, like you said, you're now getting into training, so I'm sure that's probably like I said, giving you a lot more options and opening you up to a lot more, I guess, fundamentals, I guess, for the deathmatch game too, as long as, you know, the regular pro wrestling game.
I've been very lucky to be around a lot of veterans and people who have been doing this a lot longer than I have. And I always try to keep my ears open and listen to what people are saying. And I've tried to educate myself as much as I can on stuff, as I know I am very newer. So, and every person I've wrestled or am going to wrestle for a long time is going to be the veteran in the match. So I always try to take advice from them, and then also just try to do the best I can to keep the guys safe. But like, you know, it is a death match, but even though we're having a death match, like, how do I explain it? Even though we're having a death match, like, those gimmicks are just like still safe gimmicks. Like, they might be crazy to the fans, but like, you know, there's still safe ways to use all of those gimmicks.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, not going out there and being reckless or anything like that, to where you're putting yourself or your opponent in danger or anything.
Right.
Are there any wrestlers or promotions that you've worked with that you've had that had a significant impact in your career? Of course, I'm sure GCW, like you said, that's changed your whole probably outlook on wrestling and your career.
Yeah, it definitely has.
But how has the other promotions, have you taken away from them in certain ways your time there?
Just being at H2O the one time, they have so many great guys there. Also, like, everybody in there is so hungry, and Matt Tremont's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. So just being able to be in that environment was really cool. Like, I love the H2O roster. There's so many great talents on that roster. So to be able to just learn from them, or like at all, or to share a locker room with them, that was really cool to me.
Yeah, Tremont's a goat.
Yeah, Tremont's awesome. XBrand, I also really enjoyed. That was because of my brother Rich from Wrestle Death. He hit me up. He's like, "Yo, dude, let's get you on this." I'm like, "Let's go." And I really enjoyed that. I love a good yard show. The atmosphere was really cool. I would, there hasn't been a place I've been where I have anything negative to say, or I wouldn't want to be back there.
Yeah, I know they're actually, as we're recording this won't come out for a little while, but as we're recording this, they're running a show, I think, this weekend in Pennsylvania, XBrand Wrestling.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm actually going to be hitting POR this weekend for the first time. I'm going to be catching a show of theirs on Sunday. JJ Allen, Mickey Knuckles, I think they said Lil Sicko and Tarzan. A couple big names are going to be there.
Their shows always look really fun.
Yeah. I'm still new to that scene with what they got going on. So I mean, I've been trying to like do a little deep dive on it, but yeah, I'm gonna be heading there. And of course, I just like I was about to say, I just got back from GCW Maryland recently, so that was a good show. We had a good show in there. Um, but can you walk us through like what's the process like when you're planning or executing a match? Like, of course, like you said, the veteran is going to be leading the match, but are you getting some input in there too on certain things you'd like to do in the match, or are you just kind of like going with whatever they want you to?
No, 100%. I'm definitely always trying to put my input in. One thing about me is, and I don't try to do things I'm not confident in doing, because I know it might just, because I'm newer, it might just lead to like me botching or doing something. So if there's not something I'm confident about, I'm definitely going to be very vocal about that. And I always I have a couple of moves that I like to always try to get in. But other than that, I try to always let the veterans take the lead.
How would you say you decide like the level of intensity as far as you're going to bring to a certain like hardcore match? Is it, I guess, depending on the show and what the return is going to be on that, damage that you're going to take or put out there? Of course, the GCW you're going to want to go all out for, right?
Right. Honestly, when the opportunity is there, I want to go balls to the walls. Like, if I have the opportunity, I want to go as hard as I can, no matter who it's for or for what reason. If you book Lil Skittle, you're getting a Lil Skittle match. And
hell yeah.
So, I always try to bring in the intensity no matter where I am or what's going on. If that means, if maybe in the future, if like my schedule like really stacks up, then like maybe there will be like different levels. But for right now, anytime that I get my opportunity to do my thing, I'm really gonna do my thing.
And have you wrestled in other states as well, or is it just like the New York area where you're primarily tackling right now?
New York and New Jersey are the two states I
Okay.
wrestle.
Okay, but you're open to taking bookings in
Anywhere.
other states. Okay.
I don't have a passport, but anywhere in the United States.
Yeah, I know the Canadian deathmatch scene is starting to cook up right now. They're doing some numbers up there. So yeah, maybe if you get a passport, maybe Lil Skittle, you might see him in Canada. But what's the most important thing you would consider when you're putting together a match? Is it just making sure, I guess, your ears are open and you're locked into what it is that the spots you need to hit? I guess my mindset is, I guess, what I'm looking for. Like, you're just, I guess, locked in right before you're about to go out there.
Mm-hmm. The number one thing I try to I guess try to remember, like, go for when I go into a match is just that, like, how do I explain it? I'm new where people are still like, okay, like, who is this guy? Like, can he go? Can he not? So it's like, my mindset is always like, it's time to show him. It's time to go. Like, I always try to, I always get very nervous. I always get very anxious right before a match. But as soon as I hear my song, I'm usually good, and then I'm just ready to give everybody the best show that I can and show them why I'm there.
Yeah, gotta go out there and prove yourself.
Absolutely.
How do you handle like improvisation in a match? Like, of course, not everything's going to go to plan, and I'm sure you've probably had maybe a match here or there that doesn't go to plan. You gotta come up with something on the fly or figure something out. Is that something that you think that you thrive in, or?
Yeah. I as long as in hardcore matches, I don't have no problem working on the fly at all, because that's mostly just like brawling, using your weapons, and that. When I'm in a classic match and it's time to start improving, that's a lot of like working on the, like you said, working on the fly. I'm still working on getting better at technical wrestling and chain wrestling. So, and that's something that I'm really trying to get better at over this, like, probably next year, that going into my second year of wrestling. But because my first match in June last year was less than a year ago. So I'm coming up on my first year, and I feel like I just am now having a decent foundation, and now I want to just work on getting better and actually working on holds and stuff. So
sharpening those fundamentals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What's a typical day behind the scenes? So what's a typical day like for you when you're outside of the ring? What are you up to?
Let's see. So Monday night is typically I'm live with the Bocce Boys. Those are my guys. I go hard with them. They
Is that a podcast you have?
It is a group of guys who have a podcast, but then also they are very behind the scenes at ICW, H2O, really dope group of guys, and they help me push my platform a lot, and I appreciate them a ton. So that's usually what I'm doing on a Monday and on a Thursday, but then also Tuesday and Thursday I have training, and then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday on a good weekend I'm on the road all those days. So I really try to stack up every day. Wednesday is usually my only completely free day. And then on a day like that, I'll usually just try to relax, maybe game a little bit. If I'm not running some sort of podcast / Discord event with the Skittle Squad. But
what kind of games are you into? Are you Xbox guy? Are you PC guy? PS5?
I play Xbox. I love my Xbox. I've always
Same.
been an Xbox guy.
Same.
I play right now. I've been playing a lot of Ark, I play all sorts of different games. I enjoy Minecraft, Terraria, GTA 5.
If we ever get that GTA 6, right?
Yeah, no, I'm waiting on that.
It looks good, doesn't it?
My Xbox has honestly been a little dusty the last few months because all those games I just mentioned are kind of I've been playing those games since I was 12. Like I want something new to play. I like shooters, but like I'm not that good at them. I used to play a ton of Fortnite, but I've gotten sick of that game as well. It's just I need something new. The GTA 6 just needs to come.
Yeah, I mean, just watching the trailers that they've dropped for it, it's like it almost looks better than real life when you're looking at it. And I got a weird. I think that it's gonna get crazy when it comes out because they're talking about there being like real currency somehow tied to real life, and I'm sure people are gonna get really, really involved. And there's gonna be a lot of issues, so to say. But I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you gotta like limit yourself if you're getting too crazy in it, and some people don't, and they get whacked out their minds. But of course, like you are not only a wrestler, but you are a music artist. Tell me about your music career. Is music something you feel like? I think you were saying that it came first before wrestling, or is that?
Yeah, I've been doing music since I was in middle school. So around the time I was like 13, 14 is when I started doing it, and I've been doing it ever since. So that was really my first passion, my first thing I really like tried to do. At first, it was kind of just like, okay, like this is something that I'm doing for fun, like as a joke. And then in high school, I started taking it a lot more seriously and trying to put out like actual, like more serious, high quality music. Mm-hmm. And now that I've started wrestling, I feel like my last 3, 4, 5 songs I've dropped, I'm very proud of. I think they're strong and they can hold up my catalog for a little bit while I get a okay basis in wrestling. And then eventually, sometime soon, hopefully before the end of the year, I'd like to come back full force with releasing music constantly and wrestling, hopefully simultaneously. That's really my main goal right now. If I can be pushing out music and wrestling like maybe once or twice a month, and maybe dropping a song once a month, I think that'd be like a great place to be at. That's where I'm really trying to get.
Was it always rap for you, or how did you? Okay, it was so. Was it like, how did you start? Was it freestyling, or did you just like start writing, or how did you come across like getting into music?
So I first started just writing songs on my phone, and then I would record them on my phone, and then I would just upload them to my YouTube, and those songs were just like kind of ridiculous. And then Eventually, I started going to the studio and getting professionally recorded, which took me to an actual level of having music that doesn't sound like it has a professional
Yeah.
mix, and it doesn't sound like it's like gonna fucking burst your car speakers or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, like there's just been levels to progressing that, and to eventually where I started doing full blown music videos and projects of tons of songs. But yeah, I'm definitely trying to get out a new body of work before the end of the year.
Very, very similar parallel to see there between your music career and your wrestling career, as far as how you kind of like blaze your own path and then almost are then going back to then getting things done not the right way, so to say, but like you said, like the proper recording to make it sound right. Same thing with like your wrestling career. You're going through the proper channels to get the fundamentals. So it's like I'm sure that's opening a lot more doors for you and connections as always. But
Right.
you have a upcoming show on June 20th. Is that still coming up? Let me pull this up for you.
Yes, I do. Me and Chef Cooking Up, my boy Pete, and Dewey, who is my brother. He is always on the MC, like he's picking the songs, and he introduces all of us. My boy Dewey on the left there, and then on the right is my boy Peter, Chef Cooking Up. He's another great artist. He was at my show in Philly.
Is that an MDK shirt?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
He burned it down in Philly with us. He's fucking awesome. And then, yeah.
And that's going to be in Truxton, New York as well.
Yes, sir. So, yep, that is a part of my big weekend Skittle Squad is doing. And that should be dope. I'm looking forward to that.
So, is there any similarities that you see, like before you're performing in a concert or before you're about to hit the ring? Like, as far as like are those the same kind of nerves, or do you feel a little bit more comfortable in one lane versus the other?
It's a good question. There's definitely similarities. Like you're kind of just sitting in some random space that has a curtain in between you and the fans, and then you just got to go out there and do your thing. But anytime that I've ever performed to rap, it has been on one of my own shows. So like it's very much like contradicted by me. Like I come out just whenever I want or whatever. So like that takes a lot of my stress off. Is it's like okay, like I go out when I'm ready, etc. But like with a wrestling show, like especially when there's a ton of matches and stuff, like there is a place and a time you need to be and ready, and you can't miss your cue. And like that is huge, and there's definitely a lot of stress just behind that in itself, like making sure that you don't miss your cue and you're right there on point. But there are definitely a lot of similarities. I definitely feel more comfortable probably going out to rap, but there's nothing like wrestling. Like when
The adrenaline.
yeah, the adrenaline of going out to wrestle. Like I do not get nearly as amped or excited during one of my rap performances as I will during a wrestling match. Like that's another level of intensity and just everything about it. Like
Yeah, I mean it's why you see the industry the way it is when you have a lot of people that can't get out of it, and they can't find anything similar to that adrenaline that they've got to experience while they were wrestling or performing. So yeah, I've heard that several times, that it's something that you can't really get away from, so to say. But is there any routines that you have after a match or after a performance? Like, is there a certain food that you're going to go get, or something you like to do, or?
Typically after a match, I honestly just want to cool down, like make sure I'm not disgusting or whatever, clean up a little bit, and then I want to go just hear what people thought about it. Because that's usually the first thing I do after a match is I clean up, I get all my stuff together, and then I go find out like straight like from the fucking fans, like yo, like how, like a lot of the time it is my friends, and also so like but I want to know what they thought of it. So like that's usually my first thing I do is I go and I chill in the crowd, watch the rest of the show, and try to get feedback and stuff from them. Or it's always huge. I'm trying to ask veterans like things that you can do better, and like if there's anything they noticed that you did wrong or stuff like that. But other than that, like after a show, for food, I love me some Raisin Canes. Other than that, I mean, I'll go
Okay.
with whatever I can find. Honestly, I'm not going to be picky or mad.
I know there's the huge deathmatch debate. It's the Wawa versus Sheets debate. Are you do you have an opinion on that?
I've only been to one Sheets. I've been to many Wawas. I feel like this whole debate is about people who go there and get like hot food. I don't go to
Yeah.
Wawa or Sheets and like order up a whole meal. Like I feel like that's kind of crazy, but I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. I mean, I know Sheets, like when you first start getting their food, you're like, oh, this is good. And then like after you've had it so many times, you're like, oh, this is disgusting. Like kind of same thing with like Wawa too. Like I know Sheets has good mozzarella sticks, but other than that, I'm not, like you said, I don't want a burger. I don't want any like full course meal or anything like that. Their drinks are fire, but yeah. How do you stay motivated and inspired both in and out of the ring? What keeps you going?
Honestly, just keeping remembering why I do what I do, which is very much so just my motivations are just making my people proud, people who want to see me win, and remembering to stay true to that, and then also just I know for a fact if I like don't talk to people for too long or whatever, I'll get buried in my head and I'll get like very in a weird headspace. So I always try to talk to people as much as I can and get feedback and just like talk to people through whatever I'm going through, and that usually helps me a lot.
Yeah, that's good. That's good advice. Especially, I can be like that sometimes too, where it's like you kind of get in your own head. You don't talk to people. You kind of shut down, self isolate, I guess. So the more open you can be, the more putting yourself out there, it kind of like lessens that anxiety or whatever it is that's making you do that. What upcoming projects or ventures do you have that maybe you might be working on outside of wrestling or outside of music, if you have any?
Before the end of the year, like I said, I definitely want to drop some new music. Um,
You're
other than
thinking like an
that,
EP? You're thinking like an EP or something?
yeah, definitely not a full album. Definitely more than just one song though. Definitely a project of some sort. Um, Probably an EP, yeah. And then other than that, most of my quote unquote like vacations or like stuff like that, it's all wrestling related, you know, fucking that's really where I try to keep most of my time and energy.
Yeah. I know you're talking about your fans, but how do you stay engaged with your fans? Like, what's the most important thing when it comes to building that connection with them?
One thing that I feel like I use as a huge element that I feel like um it's not something I see other people doing, or like maybe they have one, but they don't. I'm not in them, so I don't know. But I feel like I use my Discord server as a great way to connect with my fans. They're always, or just like my people in general. Any person who supports me for the most part is in there, and it gives me a great way to either talk to them in the text channels or like a couple times a week I'll be on the call and like a ton of people will join in. And yeah, I just try to use that as my main element to stay connected with my fan base and everything is because it's straight up like, yo, come hang out. And then a lot of the time people will hang out and we'll just have a good conversation or whatever. But yeah, that's probably
Yeah.
the main way I do it.
That's dope that you have that and that they have that from you to be able to connect and find out what you're doing or what you have going on, or like you said, even if it's just like to shoot the shit and just have a conversation and see what's going on. That's a cool avenue to have. And I know like some people like to like think of their fans as like, like, oh yeah, like, that's my money mark or whatever. It's like, but really they're the ones that are there to support you, and at the end of the day, you treat them right, they're going to treat you right. So do
Right.
you have any like do you have any like favorite interactions with or moments with your fans? Like, I'm sure that you probably get a lot of like realness out of your Discord, but like any like things like when they've come to your events to support you that you can remember?
Yeah, 100%. So, where it honestly gets the craziest for real life interactions is at my concerts. That's kind of like where shit just kind of hits the fan. My boy Lee, who I've known forever, he's one of the big supporters of everything I do. He always comes out and he's got a big mohawk and he'll get shirtless. He'll start fucking doing the worm in the crowd. He has taken spots in wrestling matches before. He's quite the character. Other than that, my show in Philly, a homeless man randomly got into the concert and started praying to me because he of my West Side Gun shirt. He thought he was very intoxicated. I've had a lot of weird interactions. I've had a lot of great interactions. Typically, a lot of the people who are at my like actual events are like people I've known for a long time who I've built like actual like relationships with like outside of just like whatever the fuck. So that is that's my biggest thing is I love that I try to not even like say like so much like fans or whatever, like those are my people, like those are the fucking people who go hard for me and I appreciate them. Like I don't even like I feel like there's not anybody who like really tries to have a straight up connection to their fan base or like is constantly trying to build a fan base in underground wrestling the way that I am, and 100% honesty. But
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that's, not, like I said, not a lot of people have that connection. So you put in that work, it's going to come back for you full circle. So, and when people ride for you, it's like that's a good thing to have, like the loyalty, in your fan base.
no, 100%.
How do you see your role like in the wrestling community though? Like what do you hope to contribute to the scene?
Another good question.
I try, man. I try to hit them hard hit ones.
For the most part, I just try to provide something different. I feel like especially with deathmatch wrestling, there isn't too many guys trying to do it, or the guys who are trying to do it, they maybe come up in such a weird way, and they realize it's not for them, and they're in and out, and it's just there's a reason why there's so many veterans, and it's such a small pool of guys. Like it's a very tight knit community and there's so much around it and it's not very often that you see like a 21-year-old fucking kid coming up wanting to do death matches. Like there are a few, like Jameson Shook is one, he's really good. There's a few others. I don't know like people's exact ages, so
yeah, there's a few up and coming young guys. I don't know how old Lil Sicko is, but he's like the talk of the scene right now, you know what I mean? I assume he's pretty young. I don't know. He might be younger than me, but I don't know. But you have I think I've seen this on it was on your Instagram. I don't know if it maybe got canceled or if it was taken down. But do you have an upcoming show where Nick Gage is supposed to be there, and I think you're supposed to be fighting Tommy Trainwreck?
Yes, that is not canceled. That is
Okay.
coming up here in just about a month, less than a month actually. Up here in upstate, the same weekend as my concert. That is, through the Skittle Squad again. Just that is my main platform and that I've been building up over the last few years. It's an art.
Is that like your promotion?
It's not like a full blown promotion. I call it an art brand. All my concerts are under that banner, and we've done a few like no ring wrestling shows up to this point that are like one or two matches. This is the first show with more than two matches, and it's gonna be a 6-match card. As of right now, announced we have a Yardcore Scramble consisting of Low Life Louis Jr., Hardcore, Anthrax, Mikey Anarchy, and Hardcore Anthrax, Mikey Anarchy, Louis Jr. I might be forgetting one name there. Oh, G.G. Jacobs.
I just found out about him. I just watched him on YouTube fight J.J. Allen and over at Horror Slam, and I like people who are different. I like characters. I like gimmicks. So he stuck out to me. So I immediately gave him a follow. He gave me a follow right back on Instagram. So shout out to him. But you said he's going to be there as well in that match?
Yes. And then also on the card, we have Brax versus JB Anderson. Low Life Louis Jr. Or no, not Low Life Louis Jr. Low Life Louis himself, the legend, 20 years plus in the game. Or there's no one like Low Life Louis. He's going one-on-one with Phil Insane.
He's been tearing it up too.
Mm-hmm. Then we also have me versus Tommy Trainwreck and Hoodfoot.
Is there any stipulation on your match with Tommy?
No, but there'll definitely be some fuckery involved in that match.
Okay.
And then the main event of that show will be Hoodfoot versus North Korean Assassin in a Tokyo Towers match.
Nice.
And then also to be announced is Nick Gage's match. Nick Gage will also be there.
Oh, he's going to be performing too. He's going to have a match.
Yes.
Nice. Yeah, because I seen that he was on the. I don't know where I seen it at. I thought I had seen it on your Instagram, but then I looked and I couldn't find it. I don't know where I seen the poster of it, but then I couldn't find it before our recording. I was going to have it to pull up on here, but I wasn't sure if he was just making an appearance there, or if he was actually going to have a match. But that's dope.
Hell
so
yeah.
Are you close with Nick Gage? He's one of your guys, right? Like I seen you have MDK tattoo on you, right?
Yeah. So one second. So this is my tattoo from my boy who passed away. He actually his favorite wrestler was Nick. He named himself after Nick, and then when he passed away, I got a tattoo to commemorate him. But I've known Nicky for a long time. He's incredible, one of the legends of deathmatch wrestling.
Yeah,
there isn't too many people on that level. You know, he is one of the only like straight up CCW originals still going. He's one of the pioneers of hardcore wrestling. Like there is nobody who steps up to the level of Nick Gage. Nick Gage is, he's Nick Gage. We're very lucky to have him.
Yeah. I'm he's on a resurgence, and I try to catch as much of the stuff that he does. I haven't had a chance to see him live yet. I would love to. But I don't know. I'm just gonna maybe put this out there. By the time this comes out, this will TOD and I'm not TOD, TOS and Cage of Death will have happened, but they keep teasing like a surprise entrant, and I'm wondering if maybe it might be Nick Gage. I don't know. That would blow the deathmatch scenes over fucking head if that happened. But yeah, have you been tapped to TOS that's coming up? But like I said, by the time this comes out, it'll already happened. But are you looking forward to that?
I am. Will definitely. I have been at the last TOS 7, 8, and 9. So I'm very excited to be there back at the show. But there isn't too many places with that environment.
Okay.
It's one of my favorite shows of the year. I hope Matt takes it all the way. Other than that, I think it'll be mad cool. I always look forward to TOS.
Yeah, I think that promo he cut last weekend was speaking right to everybody. But I think leading up to that, I've kind of been like on the not who I want to win, but I think that they've been leaning towards Mr. Danger. Seems to be the obvious choice, but then again, that could just be why they're doing that, to make us think that that's who they're going to go with. But Dr. Redacted, he's another one that he's a guy that I think he kills it every time he's booked on a card. But like besides like the deathmatch scene, like what else do you consume? Do you watch WWE or AEW or New Japan, anything else out there, or are you just primarily tapped into like the deathmatch?
Honestly, nowadays it's hard for me to find. I'm not gonna say it's hard for me to find the time. It's hard for me to make the time to watch WWE or AEW. I always watch the pay-per-views if I can, especially WWE. I love to see what Jacob Fatu's doing, and I love me some Roman Reigns. There's just a ton of great guys there at WWE right now. They've leveled up a lot recently, but it's hard for me to when I have the free time to be like, all right, let's watch some more wrestling. And then like if I am like that's like not usually what I go to watch. I'm gonna be honest, but I'm not opposed to watching it or anything like that. If I'm not
It's
like
not your go-to though.
yeah, not fuck like I love anything wrestling for the most part, but usually what I'm watching is usually deathmatch. Yeah, but I don't want to say that and have people think they're like, oh, he only watches deathmatch. He doesn't have appreciation for everything and like technical wrestling, which I do.
Yeah. What who are some of your guys that you would say like are like me? I like to call it like a roster or people that I fuck with. Like who are some of your main people that you like to look out for on the deathmatch scene?
The main guy who I've always went hard for even before I started wrestling was Cole Radrick. Cole Radrick is one of my ride or dies. I love him. Cole's dope. Not a wrestler, but my boy John Hammer from the Bocce Boys. That's one of my ride or dies. I love me some Alec Price. He's not really so much in the deathmatch scene, but he's in the GCW locker room. John Wayne Murdoch, super good dude. Love me some Nick Gage. Anybody who I don't have bad blood for the most part, So for the most part, any person who I've got to cross paths with has been pretty awesome. But yeah, like Cole Radrick, Jordan Oliver, Alec Price, like those are like probably the guys who I go the hardest for around deathmatch wrestling. But even though Cole's like the only one out of them who really even does death matches, but he's on the shelf right now. Hopefully he gets back.
Yeah, he just had like knee surgery or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know he was. I wasn't sure if it was knee surgery or if he broke his leg or what had happened. I knew it was something that he was out and they had to switch up the belts and stuff like that. But yeah, like you said, Alec Price, I've gotten to see him twice now because last month we went to GCW Philly and AEW Dynasty. It was on the same day, so that was my first GCW show live, and then and also first AEW show. And then, like I was saying, we just went to GCW Maryland, which was their first time in Maryland, so that was pretty dope. I brought the I don't know if you've seen that one, but I brought the "If Effie wins, we riot" sign.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah, and we toilet papered Effie and wrote his name on the toilet paper and shit before we threw it in there. So it's all in good fun, though. You know what I mean? Like he came to Maryland and he had to go against Ruckus, who's a hometown favorite.
Okay.
So we had to show him love and hold it down. We had to.
I understand now. I'm like why the F you hate? I love me some F you,
yeah.
but
It's nothing against Effie. It could have been you could have put anybody in Effie's position that night, and they were going to get that same exact treatment. So, yeah, I like to have fun like that when we go and like try to like get involved, so to say.
Absolutely, Ruckus is awesome. I love when he's in a tag team with Grim Reaper. Grim Reaper is another one of those guys who I go real hard for behind the scenes. I love me some Grim Reaper.
Yeah, Grim Reaper. He's another one that's one of the guys you definitely look out for. Definitely, 420 friendly for sure, just like Ruckus. But yeah, like he's an OG of the sport, and yeah, I've seen him wrestle so many times. It's crazy. But yeah, the fact that he's 20 probably plus years in the game and still getting title shots and competing at this level, it's a wild thing to think of. But GCW, what are you're familiar with the In Chains wrestling, right? You watch a lot of that?
The Chains ICW?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have worked ring crew for them actually quite a few times now, but ICW No Holds Barred, that's Danny D'Amanto's company. I really enjoy them. They their shows top to bottom are always fucking insane. They're all death matches, and they present them at a level that is really dope. I feel like GCW has now more became just a super indie hybrid company where they present all types of wrestling for all fan bases, and that's incredible, and that definitely has the biggest market. But I feel like ICW is the company that is appealing to the deathmatch fans of America the most. Like
Yeah.
they are constantly pushing out banger, violent ass shows that are really fun and good to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I see clips of what they're doing. I haven't been able to actually like catch full shows. I think they're on IWTV,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm gonna have to probably subscribe to IWTV. But yeah, just some of the things I've seen, like it, like you said, it's definitely balls to the walls, and definitely for the hardcore fans of
Mm-hmm.
deathmatch wrestling. So yeah, I'm excited to see where they're gonna go with it, and it seems like they're definitely blowing up right now, so to say.
Yeah, they're
But
actually overseas right now in Australia.
oh,
They're
really?
yeah, they're always moving internationally. So is GCW though. It's incredible to see these companies travel all around the world.
Is there any way that your fans how can they get involved with you and your work? Of course, like you said, you have Discord. Where can they find your music? Where can they find, of course, you have 2 shows coming up in June. You have your music coming up, concert coming up, and then you also have the wrestling show that you just talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else out there that you want to plug or you have coming up, feel free to let the audience know.
Word. So yeah. Where you can listen to my music. Is YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music for the most part. But if there's another platform, I would at least check. I'm on most of them. The only platform I'm really not on is SoundCloud. I'm pretty much on everything for music platforms. My music videos are on YouTube, and yeah, wherever I've wrestled, wherever you watch that company is where you can watch my match there. But other than that, if you want to reach out to me and figure out like how to join the Skittle Squad Discord or just how to stay in tune more, just KidSkit on screen. That's my Instagram, and then yeah, just like reach out. I'm more than open. I'll respond as quickly as I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I want to ask you before we go is, do you have anybody on your bucket list of matches that you want to check off, or any call outs that you want to put out there? Anybody that you're thinking of?
Um. Ooh, that's a good question. Again,
Call
my
your
main
shot, Lil Skittle.
my main match that needs to happen. The only match that like I'm like right now, this match has to happen is my rematch against Jay Sawyer. Avenging my 2 losses to his 2 victories, where I've never beaten him. That's like our whole storyline, the whole feud. Like Jay has I need to get back at him. So that's definitely the main match I'm gunning for right now. Is just my rematch with Jay. In terms of first time evers, there's a lot of people I definitely want to wrestle at some point when the time is right. I definitely would like to wrestle JB Anderson, Don Freeze, um, Danny DeMonto.
Would you wrestle in the chains against Danny?
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
ICW is the main company I haven't wrestled for that I would love to wrestle for at some point. But
Yeah, we got to make
um,
that happen, Danny.
word. Yeah, I'm not opposed to wrestling anybody though. But yeah, JB Anderson, Don Freeze, Danny DeMonto. I would love to wrestle another guy from my school, Mike Skyros, when the time is right. There's a ton of great guys coming up. I want to do. I just honestly, my main goal for 2025 is to get my opportunity to wrestle on a show and have a normal match that's not a death match or whatever. Like I would like to really showcase just my normal wrestling abilities.
Okay.
But other than that, anybody who's game, I would love to go with. I like BA Rose a lot too. And Hoodfoot also. Hoodfoot's the last name I'm going to throw out there.
That's a good call out. Those are some good names that you threw out there on the gauntlet. If they want a piece of Little Skittle, you know where to find them. There's his handle right there. Skittle, I appreciate you for stepping into the bingo hall and blazing it with your boy Younglurch. If you guys haven't already, please like and subscribe. And if you haven't, hit up your boy Lil Skittle. Hit him up on Discord, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, wherever you can find him.
Damn right.
It's been a great episode, and it's been a pleasure. I appreciate you for stepping in, and we'll holler at you later, Lil Skittle.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for having me, bro.
Yeah, no problem, man. See you guys.